Yeah. Hi. We're in the studio tonight. Just thought we'd do like a hangout and a Q&A. How's the barback gig going? I'm going to talk about it tonight. I guess this is a good opportunity too. So I just started barbacking because I need to get money to pay rent. And barbacking is great because you can get paid off the books. And if you have a crippling amount of student loan debt, such as that you are excluded from the traditional economy, as I am, this is very attractive money. Sup, guys? Hey, Menthol Gold. The thing that sucks about it is you got to work like 12-hour. You should try working with animals. It's great.
That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got an interview at a dog walking place. So does this look like the face of a man that you let into your fucking $60,000 apartment to come prowl around and take your dog out? I don't know. Because they actually put in the ad, they're like, good for creative people who just need a little extra money. Because like that's the thing. And this is true about bartending, barbacking. You know, everybody is somebody else. I'm a writer. My bartender's in the fashion industry, but in fact, we are a barback and a bartender. I mean, that's what my father would say. My father said something very influential to me at a young age. This was like some Nick Carraway and the Great Gatsby level advice. I was talking to him about writing. You know, I was like, at this point, I'd only really published a couple of science fiction stories, but I called myself a writer in front of my father. And I was a younger man and not very well published. And he looked at me in the face and said, "You're not a writer, you're a clerk." For indeed, I was a clerk at the time. But barbacking, yeah. Are you a Jew? No hate, no hate. I like you anyway. I'm not a Jew. I am, apparently there's Jewish ancestry many generations back,
this guy's terrible with money. I don't know if you guys know that.
I'm really bad.
He's really bad with money.
I mean, I'm describing why I'm fucking barbacking. Like, the people I serve in my bar, many of whom are of the Jewish faith, are not doing my job. Banking. Bar banking, yes. Tell them about what happened in Vancouver. Tell them that story.
Which one?
The strip club guys.
Oh, well, we'll get Hawaii Don to tell that story. That's his story to tell, but
yeah. That's not my story to tell.
That's not my story to tell. Not your Don, Hawaii Don.
Hawaii Don. Okay, yeah. You should let Don tell.
Yeah, Hawaii Don.
Yeah, Donald has been a big part of the magazine for many years. We're excited to have him on the streams. You have comfy streams. Thanks, Dave Skeet. A loony old man. I look like a cop today, though. As far as I know, I'm unemployed, says Menthol Gold.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice post.
People think he's a cop sometimes.
Do they? Mm-hmm. I don't think I project a coply atmosphere.
No, but like it's just like that level of homeless where it's like, you know, it's a little bit like, you know, like he probably goes home to like Staten Island, has like a family, like, you know, he just does his undercover day job as a homeless guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Donnie Brasco of the homeless population.
So I look straight up homeless, huh?
No. Yeah. Homeless people dress good nowadays because, you know, they get all the good throwaway clothes.
You know, I thought about that when I first moved to the city and I was like in that, oh my God, I live in New York, like, which is a very retarded state of mind to be in. Because basically you're walking around, and I'm going to talk more about the movie thing when we do the second prequel discussion, which I think is going to be later tonight, maybe tomorrow. You're walking around New York in the state of wonder because you've seen it in a lot of movies. And, you know, I mean, maybe you could say you've seen it in a lot of advertisements or whatever, but no, it's the movies. It's like everybody loves Ghostbusters. it looks really cool. Ghostbusters looks really cool because they live in New York. And so you spend your first, like, at least I spent my first like 3 months in New York just like wandering around in this fucking haze of implanted Hollywood fucking memories.
Nostalgia.
Not even nostalgia. It was like I would walk by the Empire State Building and I'd say King Kong died right there. I'd go down on the subways and be like, wow, this is where they made Chud. Oh wow, Chud. You look like a homeless man who knows a little too much. Poolside, like you're red pill, like you'll red pill you on the subway.
That's what he does.
I do red pill people on the subway.
He's a subway converter.
I'm a total, I'm just dropping red pills left and right. Traveling to London soon. Any advice? Is New York as Jewish as it seems? Asks Keela21.
Yeah.
New York is very Jewish. Yeah.
Dude, I live like in Crown Heights over there. Like, they have like a, what are they called? They're Lubavitch Jews, the ones who follow fucking Moshiach. So like, there's this guy Moshiach, like who this particular sect of Jews, like up on Eastern Parkway area, like during the White Flight of like the 1950s, like he told his community, like, we're gonna buy up all this property, like, we're gonna make a community here, and to their community, he's like the second coming. And when he died, now they got these fucking like these vans.
Yeah, these are the what are they?
Lubavitch.
The Lubavitch. Hasidim. Yeah. Yeah, the Rebbe.
Yeah.
He's supposed to have the power to like
Moshiach.
translocate. Yeah.
Dude, they got like handy vans, like handicap vans that they transport to like what are they called? Fucking something tanks.
Mitzvah tanks.
Mitzvah tanks.
They got mitzvah tanks.
Mitzvah
a lot
tanks.
of people have mitzvah tanks. Honestly.
Yeah, mitzvah tanks. But they have theirs, and on their ones they have that Moshiach is returning. Like, wait for the return of Moshiach.
Hey, thanks, Lysol. Ordering an issue.
Right on.
And then another issue. Yeah, we're gonna the next issue 2. We got an interview for it, potentially.
There's some switch ups going on.
There's
right
some
now.
switch ups, but we're gonna make it really good. True, false. Don is modern day Diogenes. True. Behold a man. I'm comparing you to a plucked chicken. There you
Fuck
go.
you.
Thoughts on Guy Debord? I love Guy Debord. Society of Spectacle is very influential on the way that I think about things, and I think it does a better job than other media theorists, because I know he's making a Marxist critique, and I don't agree with the tone of general outrage that sort of suffuses Guy Debord and like the Situationists in general. But in the 60s, there was this moment where scholarship was really starting to understand mass media and talk about mass media in a more complicated way. And I think Guy Debord is the best of those thinkers. And I really prefer him to Marshall McLuhan, who I think really just, comes down to an active media manipulation in and of himself, because he sells a lot of like, really cool sounding slogans that basically don't mean anything. Like radio is a cool medium, TV is a hot medium, and people could accuse me of misunderstanding, like, because I understand that there is like a complexity to the idea of what makes a cool and a hot medium. But I don't buy it, man. I don't think it's borne out, and I think that a lot of the examples that he uses in the book are sort of fabricated. Like one of the big proofs, I can't remember what particular point he's making about television, whether it's hot or cool, but he's talking about the debate between Nixon and Kennedy, where people on television, according to McLuhan, preferred Kennedy, and people listening on the radio preferred Nixon. And this is like trying to make a point, like it's trying to make, a point towards McLuhan's philosophy, but it's also trying to make the point that Richard Nixon is old hat because he plays on radio. And it's like, this is a misunderstanding of radio and television and Richard Nixon. And I don't support that, because Richard Nixon was a very fucking influential television candidate. Checkers speech, motherfucker. You guys should all be fucking watching the Checkers speech. Thoughts on Gromosky? Don't have any, sadly. Maybe you can send me something. Are you guys on Twitter or anything like that? I always miss the live streams.
We burn the Twitter.
We burn the Twitter. we feel like Twitter. We had a great writer managing the Twitter for us, and it was pretty funny. And it was good stuff. And it's Jared Grafton Law and Brass War Insect.
Yeah. We really appreciate his work.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Awesome job. But I just think that the whole mechanism is I don't like Twitter. I think the whole point of us trying to make a magazine was to do something long format, like, to really think about what we're trying to put inside things and, like, make something worth saying. And I think that trying to interact in a medium that is, like, kind of about what do you call it? Superfluous thought? I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Twitter is it's just
I don't got enough to say. Like, just what how many characters?
No. It's Twitter. Twitter exists. Like, Twitter is a very important part of the modern media ecosystem, because if they need to explain anything about a person, you go into their Twitter, and it becomes the definition of yourself. And the thing is, it's such a limiting format. No matter what you write, there's somebody who's going to take it as a fucking assault on human decency, and then you're infamous. And, like, not good infamous. You're, like, infamous for bullshit, like fucking Kevin Hart. Twitter is a machine that exists to destroy people. So we don't have it.
That dopamine hit thing is right. Because, like, the whole idea of, like, a bit and a bite, that all comes from, like, psychology. Like, they wrote about that in the, I think, 60s. I'm quoting some fucking bad source, and I always repeat. It should always be known that, like, I will repeat stories with wrong information in it all the time, and excuse me for that. But from my understanding, is, like, the bit was, like, it's not a qualitative thing. It's a quantitative thing. So it just has to be new. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It just has to be new.
Yeah.
And so, like, the whole thing, like, from the ground up, has been designed with the mechanisms of the brain in mind. So, like, like, every time, like, when you find yourself just scrolling through Twitter or Instagram, and you don't even know what you're looking at, but it has to be new. That's also why the headlines are the way they are nowadays.
Deadware says, I don't like Twitter either, but isn't everything dopamine? And Max Roderick, wonderful poet, featured in every issue of Dagger magazine.
Everything is dopamine, but I tell you what, like, there's something in the human ability to create things that transcend just the pure physiological,
Well, but I was going to read what Max wrote.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Twitter is an ongoing straw poll where destitute people gauge public opinion by what other destitute people share. That's pretty good. It's strange to start talking about dopamine. Have you ever been put in a self-defense situation?
That woman who attacked me in Vancouver very well could have been an indigenous person, because, like, that was the two people who made up that entire slum, was white displaced Vancouverans from the old Vancouver, and Native Americans, or not Native Americans because they're in Canada, but indigenous people is what they call them, I think. So she didn't have a drum, though. She might have had a shank.
Yeah. Barbacking is weird. I can't wait to read your first issue, says Loudspeaker. Thanks, man. The other thing about barbacking is, like, I don't know if you guys hang out in bars. I've never really been a bar guy, so, like, barbacking is some of the most time that I've spent in them. And, like, let me tell you, dude, it's fucking cool to sit in a bar for 12 hours and watch Ace while you're completely stone sober and, like, at work. You're, like, on your feet, you're tired, you're, like, concentrating on doing something, and you just watch all these people, like, the end of the night last night, this dude, this, like, big black dude who looked like a young, kind of clean-cut Wesley Willis, fucking got tanked up at the bar. He did way too many shots. He was staggering around. In the middle of the night, I'm, like, hauling a thing of glasses, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, you know about the man up there?" And I'm like, "God?" And he goes, "Ugh." I say, "I'm reasonably acquainted with him." And I walked off, and then he was like, "Fuck you! Fuck you!" Like, I pissed him off. Anyway, he pissed me off at the end of the night because it was, like, fucking literally the last minute of close. And he goes into the back next to the bathroom and pisses all over the floor. Fucking 2 gallons of hot black guy urine, just like all over the nice wood floor. I'm mopping it up.
That got way too descriptive for me for a second.
It got way too. It's because I mentioned the man's race.
Yeah.
But the reason that they mention a person's race in old Pulp Fiction stories is like people are fucking racist, and if you want to press the buttons in their head to make them feel something, you got to press that fucking button. You got to press that fucking button. Otherwise, we spend the rest of our lives tiptoeing around it, and we create a very antiseptic, like Walmart level gauge for public discourse in terms of offense.
Mm.
And it's not that it's like it's politeness, but it's politeness advanced to the point where, like in you ever walk around a Walmart and you see shit walking around the Walmart. You see people in states of fucking nightmare distress, but you don't say anything because you're just both at Walmart and you exist in that code of silence. That's that's what they want to make all discourse into.
All right. So back to there's a giant, there's a big black dick fucking pissing on the floor. And
that's my point. I mean, it sucks. And as far as I can tell, like bars seem to be, based on my experience, platonic relationship strip clubs where the fantasy is that somebody likes you and is excited that you're there.
That's actually a cultural thing. Like in Japan, they get the mama-san bars all the time. That's yeah. Well,
maid cafes. I mean, I would much rather work in a maid cafe, surprising no one. Do you have the lighter?
There's no purity? Purity in what? Like, what do you mean?
Let's see. So is there no purity? Yeah, could you expand on that a little bit?
Like a removal from the physical? Because no, I don't think there is.
When I tended bar, Benjamin Palmer says, when I tended bar, the patrons were all smashed and the bar staff were a half grib deep in blow. Yeah, there's not at this place. We run clean. The zombie apocalypse happens every night. The average watering hole. Max Roderick, who has worked in restaurants for many years, says, "Dude, at Fishbones, we had regulars who spent 6 hours there every night, but it's like upper scale, so they still expect you to respect them somehow." And then Loudspeaker says, "My science fiction story is intentionally racially ambiguous." Was the shooter white? I agree. Whoa. Lovecraft's central motivation as a writer was racial resentment. I would disagree with that. I would say that one of Lovecraft's major motivations as a writer is racial resentment. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Tesla gives his regards. He's on that bomb strap pure tip. Oh, that's true. Charles is the authority on what constitutes pure. Thoughts on Vic Berger? He's asked a few times. I don't know Vic Berger.
I don't know Vic Berger either.
Send us a link to Vic Berger. That was perfect bond between a wholesome stream, lad, says Loudspeaker. Yeah, Lono is a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Lono is a good boy.
He had a stroke. You can see his stroke face. Lono, look at here.
Lono, look. Say hi to the people.
Look at his stroke face. Had a stroke. It's too intense.
I crashed with Matt for a while when I lost my apartment. And one of the first things I got from this dog was they were dog sitting another dog. I mean, can I tell this story?
Well, I'm paying Lono. He's a good boy. Like, okay, fine. Tell the story, and I'll defend.
So I was sleeping in the basement, and I wake up, crash! There's a fucking furniture is flying, fucking plates are breaking right over my head. I go up, and Lono has attacked this other dog, like this stray dog. Or am I mixing it up? Okay, tell the story.
Okay, well,
tell the story.
One of the things that you can do in New York is babysit dogs over the weekend for people who are going out of town and stuff like that. Like, it's a good way to make some side cash, just like bringing dogs, and no problem. And so normally we bring in nice little dogs, like, it's no problem. Like they're good. Lono loves them. It's all good. But these people came in and they're desperate. They had this dog that they got, like, you know, I was like, okay, like, you know, no problem. He was about Lono size and like, you know, little skittish, but not too, like, didn't seem too weird. But then, like, you know, he started like hanging around, like, you know, the doors and like kind of like poking around, and like he was really like a kind of like a skittish step kind of dog, like, you know, very. And then Lono was in the room with us upstairs, and the dog's like tiptoeing up the thing, and they just went at it. Oh, I was like, oh shit, like, you know, fucking crazy dog fight in the middle of the fucking stairwell, and I'm like, you know. I've learned, I've gotten bitten by dogs many times before. Like, you know, like there's a lot of, like, you don't get in the middle of dog fights anymore. Like, I also have to tell myself that, you know, there's no reason to, they're going to be fine. If you get bit, it's much worse. Like, you know. Anyway, so they get in the dog fight. Don's all waking up like, oh my God, like, you know, like, is everything okay in that place? Is like this, you know, like fucking making the situation worse through shame. Like, you know, but,
making the situation worse through shame.
But yeah, but it turned out that the people had just gotten the dog like 2 weeks before, and he's like a rescue from freaking, like, he was like a wild pack dog that had been roaming around the Rockaways that had been like adopted by like people going around rounding up dogs and adopting them, and like fucking yeah, I kicked his ass. Fucking Lono's gonna kick their ass. Like, I'm sorry, like, you know,
Matt comes down the stairs holding a bloody dog.
It wasn't that bloody.
It was bloody. He holding a bloody dog. And I'm like, what the fuck have I got myself into? What kind of rogue is this man?
Oh.
But the thing is, Lono is a fucking excellent dog. He's a very good dog. He's an excellent friend. He's a big, goofy guy. I've only seen him do that the once. But
it was the other dog. Like,
they,
I mean, people, you know, like to act like dogs don't fucking. Everyone would like to cut the dog's balls off and just like, well, I'm not gonna cut his balls off. No way. And then fucking, like, you know, they want you to cut the dog's balls off and be like, this is like not an animal. This thing has no emotions or no fucking, like, you know, instincts, and like any sort of act of violence, like, it's just like sort of no, it's like fucking hey, dog. You know, fucking, most people get bit by little dogs.
Yeah.
Dog abuse. Don, how did you get set up with Sam? I met him doing a story for Penthouse Magazine on MBE. When's the next issue? Upcoming. No date. Sorry. We got to be like id Software with this. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, the next issue, the next online issue is very much upcoming. Like, I've basically spent the last week doing barback shit and like adjusting my schedule, because it's like staying out all night to work a 12-hour shift is like a thing you gotta adjust to. And you know, like I'm used to dealing with my own piss, not the piss of others. And I'm just, you know, I haven't been doing physical labor that intensely in a while, and so it just takes like a minute to get adjusted. But the online issue, we have everything for it. I just got to do the designs. I got to finalize the designs, and I think you guys will be happy with it because it's going to be a big one, and it's really fucking good. The next print issue, you know, we're right at the end there, but like I said, we just got an interview, so we might be laying out a new story. And that's also like the big thing with this issue is Gorefest, a role-playing game. And it's a complete fucking role-playing game. It's like about the size of Dungeons and Dragons in like 1980, like the Holmes basic set. It's about like that big. And I'm a big admirer of Dungeons and Dragons as a literary work, and this is my attempt to do something like it. And people seem to really enjoy it. And I think that you know, it fits in with the Barback thing because it's designed to be simple. Unlike other role-playing games, so that people can play it in any state of inebriation. It's a little bit more like poker than D&D in terms of the social aspect. A lot of brutal player-on-player violence. So hopefully you guys will dig that. And that will be in the next online issue, and then the print version of it is in the the next print issue, and that's going to have art by Matt that's just fucking glorious. It's all out of old Soldier of Fortune magazines, like, basically. And there's a lot of fucking racism, which I think that the whole family will appreciate. From now on, Dagger is 100% Sprite comics. We're going to use sprites from the old NES McDonald's game exclusively. Yeah, Max, I'm glad you brought up McKids. Reading the Linguistic Jew. There's a story in the next issue. I've been spending most of the week dealing with barback shit. I'm used to dealing with my own piss, not somebody else's piss. Oh, okay. Don Jolly on becoming a barback in his 30s. That's weird. Having my own words narrated back to me. But yeah, so Gorefest is the big thing. And it's taken a long time to get it right. And you're going to be able to play it when the next online issue drops. It's going to be the complete rules. What you get when you get the print issue is it's laid out like a real role-playing game. Like, I mean, there are good role-playing games that are available online for free. I really like Mazes and Monsters, but I think I can't remember the guy's name, Tom Anglin, I think. But it's a text file that's been circulating since the early internet, and it's basically like the most rip-shit, broke-ass version of Dungeons & Dragons that exists. And he's got little ASCII art for all the weapons. I fucking love that game. So I don't want to say that it's, but it's more like a traditional role-playing game when you get in the thing with the illustrations and tables, and it's easier to play with because you've got an actual book. And like I said, Matt did a fantastic job on the illustrations. And I think you're going to get a GM section with the print version that has like, just a little bit more shit, like more NPCs and stuff. But you're going to get most of the rules when the online issue drops for free. We might have a PDF for sale, but I don't know. I think probably not initially.
It's it's currently on. There's a
there's a test version on DriveThru RPG.
If anyone wants to go digging, they could probably find it right now. An old version that we had.
It costs like $5. I would not recommend buying it because it's got some typos. But and the people on DriveThru RPG hate it because they think that it's racially insensitive.
Tell them to review.
Yeah, a guy was reviewing it and he said, like, because I put in the thing, it's your new favorite game. Like I wrote this really fucking, cucky ad copy thing. And the first reviewer was like, this is far from my new favorite game. When I opened it, I discovered that the first example character was a veteran of the Iraq War that kills Arabs on sight. And he was, this was generated with the character creation rules where being a racist is actually, it's something that your character can do. It's like a class.
No, like, did you explain to them the quirk table? And all
Yeah,
that
so
kind of
when you make a Gorefest character, you roll a random number of quirks, and one of the quirks you could get is racist.
It's also 1 out of 100.
Yeah, it's
Those
actually
odds are way better than reality. Like,
But
I
think
think
of,
people being insulted about that is way.
But Gorefest is a fucking action movie simulator, and how many fucking great action movies have had a racial tension component?
You're gonna be all like, they hate each other for existential reasons, right? It's not race.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? You want to fucking, like, this is the thing that bothers me. Like, D&D is super popular now, but people play this version of D&D where like some dark shit went down in the early 80s, my friends, in fucking people's private D&D games. You got to read some of these accounts of the early games. They're gnarly. The shit that's happening now, it's like fucking Friends. Everybody, everything is clean, everything's sanitized. You don't even worry that the characters are going to die, really. It's like, motherfucker, that's not what role-playing is. It's not. It's fucking...
We want to roleplay a more beautiful world.
We want to... Yeah. Gorefest isn't coming up on DriveThru RPG. It's on there somewhere. I'll like see if I can find the link. They think racism is uglier than murder and unjust war. It's pretty sad. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Is like Gorefest is literally a game where you can play psychopathic killers. Everybody plays a psychopathic killer. And the worst part is that he fucking like is a racist.
Well, I think the thing about racism is like you don't get to say that you're not a racist.
Yeah.
It's for other people to say. And if it's for other people to say, then everybody's a racist. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Asking if Gorefest is OSR. Gorefest is absolutely
I found
OSR.
it.
I am a huge fan of the old school Renaissance. I think that so many of those writers are fucking super on point. I especially want to say that James Mazalewski, I might be mispronouncing that, who does Grognardia, or he did Grognardia back in the day. I think it's been defunct for a minute. And I don't know what happened exactly. Like, I didn't really dive into it. There's a little bit of online drama. But he's a great writer and a great like theorist. I mean, Ptolemy's old D&D musings was like really influential on my thinking about the game. I've always been like, you know, I couldn't make the switch to third edition basically. Like, I've played my whole life. Obviously, I'm talking about it like a fucking super nerd, but like, role-playing games are a great way to spend your time because you're being social with people, and because you're all pretending not to be who you are, you could be very honest in a way. Like, it's a good way to interact with people, and you make good friends doing it, which is very important. And number two, how are you going to spend your Friday night, right? You going to watch a fucking movie? You know, play a fucking video game? Like, this is an opportunity to make something of your own, like to do storytelling in public and to have it be your pastime. I think it's gorgeous. But third edition like was too mechanistic for me. Third edition D&D. And I kept playing AD&D and second ed all the way through that edition. And so I was pretty primed for the OSR because like I've always really appreciated the art style of those older books and stuff. And Gorefest is created to look like one of those older books, like not in a ripoff kind of way, but like in a very authentic early 80s like RPG grunge.
We have a folder
Kinda
around here
way.
with all the
Do we have the art? Yeah. I like old school RuneScape. I have 96 mining. Fuck yeah. I like RuneQuest. Did you get a lot of shit for your Hide Wars appearance from any of your more left-leaning friends? They don't know how to find it. I think I might have burned some bridges, excuse me, sending it to people in academia. But, you know, I don't know. And that was a little dickish of me. But at the same time, I was making a public statement. And it's like, you know, I do have serious problems with the academy. The problem is, it's like I don't have problems with individual people in the academy. I would still like to be friends with them, but like, it's tough. It's tough with this presentation, and it's not just about you know, my ideological stance. It's also the fact that I like live like a homeless person. You know, there's a lot of status in that particular environment. But no, I don't know if I really got shit for it. And I think whatever shit I did get, I earned, and I understood what I was doing when I earned it. Yeah. Do people in academia know MDE? No, but I tried to get them to. I tried to get a bunch of people to watch Ideas Man, like back in 2013, and nobody. And college cunts. Oh my god, you've never lived until you've shown a professor college cunts. From Nicholas C. Yeah, they found the quote. Regretfully, I find the second quirk so fundamentally distasteful and unpleasant and a simple character presumably tried to encourage me to play this game. I don't think you came across as being racist. Thanks, Alex Lush. But that doesn't, you know, that's not part of it. I'm adjacent to racism. That's just as bad. And I will admit to being a racist. You know, I think everybody is a fucking racist. And if we just admit it and live, like, I don't try to, like, I'm not in the Ku Klux Klan. I don't wield it like a fucking weapon. I don't let it get to the point of fucking violence or anger or serious resentment. But, like, everybody's got certain prejudices. Like, when Matt looks at me, he sees a Howley motherfucker who came in and took over his beautiful island paradise. And I destroyed it and fucking, you know, messed up his life. Yeah. When I look at Matt, I see exactly what H.P. Lovecraft was warning us all about. A fucking, like, have you ever read Polaris? The Lovecraft story where fucking degenerate subhuman Eskimos run over the fucking beautiful city of Aryan Superman in the Antarctic, and they get overrun by fucking Eskimos, and the Eskimos hack them all to death. That's what I see when I see Matt. And that's why we're such good friends.
It's weird that people compare me to Eskimos because, like, ironically, it's my most hated race because of I had an encounter with a guy named Nayuk when I used to be I used to be a server assistant at a restaurant in San Francisco, and so like I'm clearing tables and stuff like that. Like I'm hustling and stuff like that. And I forget what he told on me about, but he told on me to the GM about something. And like he was coming back in here with like holding 2 trays. I'm like, bah! When he sold the 2 trays, and then they gave me 2 days off. And like fucking, he ended up being a male stripper later on, though. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Aryans in Japanese are like peas and carrots.
Hey.
I'm proud that you counted me as an Aryan, because the thing is, I'm also what Lovecraft was warning you about. I'm I'm a degenerate, white butt, like, white trash individual. And in a Lovecraft story, I would be participating in the fucking evil swap rituals. So, subhuman TV here. Oh, speaking of which, we'd had a question earlier that I didn't address just because it's a little intense for me to talk about it. But somebody asked if Subhumanoid was inspired by my experiences. This is a comic in the last issue. And yeah, it was. Although I didn't know it at the time that I was writing it. Like, I used to be very big. If anybody wants to look for it, you might be able to find this. But I did this webcomic back in the day called The Flapjack Canyon, which was like a novel and a webcomic and a bunch of poems. And that was really weird, not too finished, but it was very enthusiastic. And Subhumanoid is kind of a sequel to that. And it was basically just my attempt, like in my early 20s, to figure out why I hated myself so much, like what was wrong with me. So Subhumanoid came out in this very like, it was like therapy. And I didn't even fully understand it until like a couple of years later. But that's that comic is really important to me. But it causes a lot of pain even to think about it, because it's like it's so attached to that sense of pain that I was going through when I did it. And it's very painful to have that out in public. And I question my decision to do that sometimes, but people seem to like it. So
my comic's about eating a mom.
Yeah,
making people eat moms because they got pig monsters.
Yeah, Matt did a beautiful comic in the first issue, which said some of you don't seem to have ordered it. This is Matt's comic.
Show your comic.
Thank you, Dresden Clark Graves. Mine doesn't look as good because it's a 9-panel grid. It's like Watchmen or Steve Ditko, but it's all about sad early 20s nerd emotionalism. But it's got a swamp monster in it and a lot of fucking messed up sex. So,
what more could you want from a comic book? Right
on. Northern people are more autistic. Something about having Neanderthal DNA. Don, you're a real human being. In the future, there won't be races, only creators, says Bennett. I still have full PDF of Flapjack. Haven't looked at it in like a decade, says Max Roger. Have you seen the film Southern Comfort? Asked Loudspeaker. Have you seen the film Southern Comfort?
Southern Comfort?
Oh, Colton, I didn't. Did you see the movie Southern Comfort?
I think so. Maybe.
I haven't seen it. I think we can all agree Mexican nationals are rude. I don't agree with that. Mexican nationals are actually very. I mean, it's
the Hondurans you gotta watch out for. No, I'm just kidding. No offense to Hondurans. All right, sorry.
I would unironically be in the Bund if I was back in the 1930s as Loudspeaker, not by choice either, most likely. That's fine. So much black and white. I want you to spend more money that you don't actually have so that it will be color. I don't care that literally 0 American publishers supported you. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, we wanted to publish it ourselves because we want to control the message. So it's not like people shut us out.
Like I said, we could have got advertised. We could have
Yeah, we had people who wanted to put like sneaker ads and stuff in the first issue, but we didn't do it. We didn't even put page numbers in the first issue. We didn't want anything getting away of the art.
That's not what it's about. Like, I mean, it's really not about. I don't know. I think that this is like an experiment. The whole thing is the experiment. Like, the live streaming, trying to figure out as like a, multimedia, whatever. I don't know. It's just like I said, like if you're making art in this time, you got to utilize the tools of the time. You got to figure out what it is you actually want to create inside this thing. Like what we said, we didn't want to just jump on here and be all, hey, tune into our show and stuff like that. We wanted to have an actual magazine to present, and say, hey, like, you guys can buy this. You can have a magazine. You can read it. It can be, like you might be able to get inside of it. Even. Like, it's like it just opens up the doors for a lot of things. Once we realize that we could make something physical and tie it to the internet like that, like, like that interaction.
But we got a great, better a good decision quickly than the best decision too late. I will admit that we dither around a little bit like Hamlet. But he went on to great things, or at least notoriety, even though he got stabbed or poisoned. Excuse me. Well,
stabbed. Just keep working until there's no way that any way that you die will not be suspicious, right?
I was a PSYOP guy in special operations as loudspeaker. I ran a print shop and ran a mobile pirate FM radio station against the Taliban in Afghanistan. At some point, too, I want a print shop here.
Fuck yeah. Call us. That would be amazing.
Call us, man. Some sort of white trash culinary delight. I'll give you a recipe here because I'm not going to disgrace the issue.
I think we had a hard time printing this in America. Like I had terrible reception when I was sending the magazine out for like, spec prints and stuff like that. Like it was like I had a terrible time with it. Then we found Penny Pan. Penny Pan, gonna be Chinese New Year soon.
Penny Pan, China.
You sure you won't get your order in soon? So Miss Chinese New Year. Sorry, I love Penny Pan. I'm sorry, that was a.
Oh yeah, no, don't like my. I think we already did my recipe, which is the Nasty Max.
Ooh.
You go into a 7-Eleven, you get a bag of Fritos, you put free chili and cheese and jalapenos and onions, and you mix it up and take one of the free spoons, and it's like you get a bowl of chili.
He eats it out of the bag.
Yeah, you eat it out of the bag, and it's like. You eat a warm bag. You just have a nice warm bag. No, people hate that I fucking eat shitty food, like junk food, like fucking fast food and shit.
Like diarrhea.
I love it. You're sustaining yourself on the fucking cyberpunk food ecosystem. Like, I figured out how to make a bowl of chili for $2.99 in a public space. I mean,
that's commonplace for here in Texas. I guess it's a Texas thing.
Oh shit,
Nasty Mac.
It might be a state dish. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm sorry that I'm representing it like it's mine, but that's the thing is like everybody blows shit up your ass in New York. You start taking credit for things. You start taking credit.
And the street dudes start going, yeah, that chili's free.
Yeah. Look up the Long Range Patrol MRE chili bag. I will. So I can have his people. Yeah, let's. Do you want to talk more about that loudspeaker? Because that's really fucking interesting. I understand if you don't, but if you want to say anything, I'd love to read it. Jake Butler asked him, "Did you play a lot of Third Eye Blind Jumper over there?" And Max says, if you want white trash recipes, he's got a really good one for chili. Max is a great cook. He's actually the one that you should listen to with food.
Yeah. So one of the things is like I'm half white. Right?
No. Loudspeaker says they played Metallica in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
That's how you do it, man.
Master of puppets, you're pulling the strings. You boys ever coming to Cali? At some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any travel plans in the immediate future. We do want to go to Japan, and we've got some money for that, so maybe we'll go to Cali on the way to Japan.
Boy, Don loves Osaka.
I would love to go to Osaka. Osaka Castle? Holy shit. Any of you guys ever been to Japan? Is it cool? The thinker or artist whose better self has fled into his works feels an almost malicious joy when he sees his body and spirit slowly broken down to and destroyed by time. If you say so. I would say that my receptors for malicious joy are dead at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea of our separation from eternity, right? Is our mortality. And so, like, the art always ends up being about the finite nature of human life in some ways, I guess.
We played wherever I may roam, and of wolf and man on a cold day in Farah province. I would love you guys to write a semi-fictional story about that day, Cold Rain. I would love
Dude,
that.
that's an amazing.
That would be amazing.
Dude, I love
that.
this
We
stuff.
would we that would be good in the print issue, man. That would be fucking amazing. Fucking send me an email. Garbloza@gmail.com. GARBLOZ as in zebra A at Gmail. Send me an email. I think you already have though, so I'll just get back to you, or just send me one already. I would love to read that story, and I'd love to edit it. Or anything I can do to help with that.
We actually have a bunch of that kind of literature. We have stories from.
We were riding to a castle built by Alexander the Great that was manned by 100 Afghan militiamen that we trained. Wow. Thousands of years later, the castle was still being occupied by soldiers. If you overlook all the politics of the war, look at it from a historical standpoint. Robert Howard wrote stories about that, like El Borak. He was always running across fucking Alexander the Great, like Percy Bysshe Shelley kind of architecture. I mean, fucking Robert Howard is so goddamn good, man. Yeah. He saw so fucking far into the future. I mean, his Afghan stories are amazing.
Yeah. Watson is wounded in Afghanistan in the first Sherlock Holmes book.
I would love to see those pictures too. I understand if you don't want to share them, but that's fucking amazing. If you read the book Cherry, my friend got it published last year. It's about war and drug addiction. I want to read that too. Who are some of your dream? George Lucas. Dream interviewees for Dagger.
Yeah, George Lucas.
George Lucas. Akira Takarada, maybe Akira Kubo. Anybody who was involved in the golden age of fucking Toho Godzilla movies.
I'd like to interview Steve Johnson. He's the guy who created like Slimer and did the special effects for Big Trouble in Little China and a bunch of other things.
I'd like to talk to Jeffrey Eugenides when he wrote The Virgin Suicides, but I don't want to talk to Jeffrey Eugenides who wrote Middlesex. So that's like kind of a weird one. M. Night Shyamalan.
No, Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
We were working on a Dan Aykroyd interview. I don't know how that. We can.
It's still possible, but I would not say it's likely. We do have a slight in with Dan Aykroyd. We really, really would love to talk to Dan Aykroyd. We love Dan Aykroyd. We think he's right about a lot of shit. Yeah, I'd like to interview Ethan Van Sciver.
Yep.
Yeah, he would be a good guy. Bob Burden, who did The Flaming Carrot. And we actually should. I'm intimidated to talk to Bob Burden. The Flaming Carrot, I think it's one of the greatest works of poetry in the 20th century. I think it's fucking real shit. And we've got some more from Loudspeaker here. We were riding in these Polaris...
packed dips of the remaining tobacco, like they would put in their lip.
Hold on, let me read them. So we were riding in these Polaris side-by-side ATVs with M240 machine guns mounted to. When we got to the entrance of the castle, this river, kids were there. They would pass. The Afghan kids were following us, waiting for us to throw our cigarette butts on the ground, and they would pick them up, take them apart, and dip the remaining tobacco. Oh, that's fucking amazing.
The beetle nut.
That was like 7. They were like 7 years old. Got pictures of that too. Shoko Ashara interview when? Asked Jake Butler. Charles Manson interview from jail.
That's the other one we were working on.
Yeah, we were.
Well, I don't know. Should we talk about that? Is that fine?
We pursued a Ted Kaczynski interview for quite a while, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I would say that this is also like possible, but not likely. I would like to talk to Ted Kaczynski. I think he's had an interesting life experience. Maybe you can put crystals on Dagger like Claude. I would love to do that.
Yeah. See, that's an ad I'd run. I would run
Dan Aykroyd's vodka
ads. I'm sorry. Like, I know, like, people, they sold out of Dan Aykroyd, but okay, if you're gonna do it.
Yeah. No. Somebody asked what a sellout is, and like the thing is, you got to get away from this thought that like there's a sellout and there's a genuine person, because like you got to sell out a lot. You just have to make sure that you sell out in ways that don't damage your like essential spirit. Because you got to get money from somewhere, and it's like getting money from barbacking. I'm totally comfortable being recognized for my value to society, cleaning up piss. Yeah. Like that's not a major sellout.
Yeah, you find jobs that don't compromise your ethics.
Yeah, and you get money in ways that don't compromise your ethics. I feel no fucking compromise selling this beautiful magazine for $20.
Yeah.
Like when you order this, it's not like you're just throwing shit. Like I had a Patreon and I didn't keep it up, but people kept contributing to it. I feel really bad because like I should be putting something up for those people, but like it's just like this is something of apparent value. It's not like a blog post. It's like this is something that you can keep around and you can fucking page through.
We made it. It's got overhead. It's got like it's a thing. Like,
it fucking exists. Like I feel good about giving that to people. I don't necessarily feel good about like charging people to read, early drafts of shit and stuff. Although honestly, I might start doing it again. But if I'm gonna do Patreon, I'm gonna keep it updated because I feel really bad about kind of abandoning the last one. And I appreciate the cash, but I feel bad about that. I just want to sell valuable objects.
Turkington. How do you say that? Greg Turkington.
Yeah, and Loudspeakers explaining that this was back in 2011 when he was a psychological operations sergeant, U.S. Army Special Operations Command. That's the story that he's been telling. And thank you so much for that, Loudspeaker. We would love to have that story. That's fucking beautiful. You guys should interview Molly from Mourning the Ancient. I don't know who that is. Have you read Have you ever read Simon Shepard? He has his own magazine, Heretical, and he's very well read. I can imagine you two getting along. Heretical.com has some good stuff if you're down. I am. I'll check it out. Heretical.com. A TED interview would be great. I agree. Want to do something tongue-in-cheek? Interview her. This is the Molly from Mourning the Ancient. We'll look her up, Loudspeaker.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody about like the Tim and Eric thing like that. I was just talking shit the other day, but like fucking, I also don't watch TV, so like Turkingtons are too close to Tim and Eric, and we hate those guys, I guess.
Who's saying this? Oh, was Turkington's too close to Tim and Eric, and we hate those guys? I don't have any problem with Tim and Eric necessarily. I did do a bit in KSTV where I talked shit about Tim and Eric. I mean, I don't like him being all passive aggressive shit about world peace. Like I'm fucking pissed off that world peace got canceled. But a lot of people like Tim and Eric. I don't have any problem with them like as comedians.
I haven't had cable TV in like 15 years.
You get those printed in Taiwan? No, in mainland China.
Mainland China.
They
got a whole city built around a giant factory that's just dedicated to fucking, and like they have all these brokers that go along and fucking, it was the weirdest fucking, got through Alibaba. And I'm sorry to like, the Made in America crew. I did want to make it in America, but man, it was like.
Yeah, the Jake Butler is telling us to watch Bill Hicks's thing about the Waco siege, and I will. I've actually been out to the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, or at least the memorial. I'd be very interested to watch that. So maybe on a future stream we'll have something to say there. After Waco, Bill Hicks became Alex Jones. I think that's entirely possible. Tim and Eric should start funny, in my opinion, says Max Roderick. Like him, shrugs. Yeah, I agree, Jake. I mean, that whole situation was fucked up, and I don't like knowing that fucking, like, I don't need to know Tim and Eric's politics. Does that make sense? Like, it bums me out that like Tim Heidecker became such an ideologue in the 2016 election, because it's like, isn't this the guy who just stands for like maximum nonsense at all times? I mean, I guess it says something that like the maximum nonsense super irony man is like a dyed in the wool Hillary Clinton supporter. But does it affect? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so tired of that. I'm tired of celebrities being like, I saw Captain America put up a tweet in 2016 where he was like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to vote for the candidate with more experience. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You play Captain America in the movies. Like, I don't need to know. I'm not that interested in your fucking personal politics. Like, you don't even throw the shield. They have a computer do it. They composite it into the thing. You're just not a source for like reliable geopolitical information. I don't like that Captain America. Deadware says, I still have the paranoid theory that Sam purposely got the show canceled to retain the cult status MDE has. More I think about it, it's a stupid theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's super in control of anything.
Yeah. You try, it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to make stuff, man, and you try your best to keep it up, and like to try and make stuff that is like honest to your vision, like through the whole thing. I mean,
And that's something you could say for MDEs. It's like all the way through all the shit that they got producing that show. World Peace is a fucking masterpiece. Like it's an absolute masterpiece, and everybody who is involved with it should be extremely proud. And Sam should be, everybody is extremely proud, and they have a right to be. And it's hard to make stuff, and people are, don't, recognize fucking genius when it comes, and appreciate it for what it is. That's important. Reb Brown threw the shield as Captain America. I'll listen to Reb Brown's. Yeah. I listen to Reb Brown about a lot of shit. Well, we've been going for about an hour. Let's see. Does anybody else have some questions? Oh, Dagger merch, asked Tony Mac.
Yeah, we're trying to do T-shirts. We're gonna start spray painting T-shirts. That's how I used to start when I first started out with art. I used to sell T-shirts and stuff like that, spray painting T-shirts, and I think we're gonna start that again. We might get some printed. I don't know, but this whole I don't want to get in source this shit locally somehow.
I don't know if you remember, but in the Hyde Wars, I was talking about dating a Jewish girl. I don't know what point I was trying to make. I mean, the night we shot that Hyde Wars was fucking amazing. We're like driving around at 90 miles per hour in this giant fucking truck, like doing donuts in a peat bog. This guy flagged us over onto the side of the road. He had a fucking deer smashed up in his undercarriage. So I got to see a deer's fucking spleen on the highway in Rhode Island. It was like fucking, that was a fucking heady night. I don't remember what point I was trying to make. I'm glad that I was coherent at all in that High Wars, but it was a very cool experience.
Yeah. Sam Hyde's comedy unironically saved my life when I discovered MD. I was dealing with a massive PTSD-induced dissociative state. See, that's the power of art.
Yeah.
That's why so you have to be grateful for the people who do that. Who are able to bring that into the world, because that's the power of art. Like people act like it's just like a thing, but it saves people.
Loudspeaker says, I would buy a spray painted American-made shirt. That's what I did with my first test shirt to promote my sole proprietor company that I want to eventually turn into a holding company. Nice. Yeah, we got a letter from you about that.
Yeah, we gotta go find some fucking American-made shirts.
Yeah,
American Apparel went out of business, and so now I think there might be some overstock floating around. I've been seeing some American Apparel stuff. I don't know what you guys think about American Apparel.
And also like the big problem is just order fulfillment, because we have enough problem with that with the magazine. So T-shirts is gonna compound the thing, and we don't want to get into a situation where we're sending shirts.
T-shirts. No, I'll totally make
super
T-shirts.
late. No.
If somebody kicks cash for some T-shirts, I'll make a T-shirt and I'll mail it out like that for sure, 100%.
Yeah, a stencil and a spray bottle of bleach is enough to make T-shirts. Yeah, no, exactly. we're gonna do that. Would you guys be cool with just having one giant size?
Well, someone wants sweatshirts. I mean, what size sweatshirt do they want?
I mean, we could just get a bunch of different sizes. Just I like the idea of people.
I like on demand. If someone's like, here, I bought a shirt, and I'm like, okay, now I've got to go out and buy a shirt. I have
Yeah, but you got to buy in bulk.
Yeah, buying in bulk is I got to put the front overhead.
Large, 42 to 44. You mean no? Loudspeaker says you mean stupidly large. Yes, I mean stupidly large.
Like triple.
Would you guys be cool with triple X? Fucking I mean, obviously this is the clown blouse, but that Sam did on MD. I want to give credit to the clown blouse idea, but giant gangster shirts that say Dagger. You could even make it a white tee with a black logo, or I mean black tee with a white logo would look better, but it will be a drape. It will be a fine drapery. That would be hilarious. Figure out the metrics of just do a large and an XL. Yeah, I mean that's probably funny. Jake Butler says XXL white is LMAFO. I don't know. Is that? I think that's a really good idea, actually. Fucking, I would be down with clown blouses as a hoodie. Not sure I'd buy the t-shirt version, says Max Roderick. Well, you're gonna get a free one anyway. Hoodie would be cool though. Hoodies actually might be cooler than t-shirts.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna go out like, what, we got 30 people in the stream. I go out and find maybe 15 shirts or of varying things. Like, so anybody mentions their size, I'll be sure to get that size. And we'll do it for sure.
We should do like a poll. Everybody does sizes, and we'll figure out how to order it. It says interview Vernon Chapman. He is known for co-creating wonder shows in the animated series Xavier Renegade Angel and producing and voicing characters in South Park. Yeah, I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, we're actually in touch with several people who used to draw or not draw, but write for Beavis and Butthead and developing cartoons along those lines.
They're all saying they buy hoodies.
Yeah,
by the way.
Hoodies are where it's at.
What doth life? Recommendation: Mindsploitation. Asinine assignments for the online homework cheating industry. Do whatever it takes to get it under $15. I agree.
I know. That's the thing.
I mean, I think we could do that. We could get a hoodie for that from China.
From America, we got that's hey, it's like one of those
hoodie.
things.
Hoodie would be sick. Bannet says beanie would be lit.
Yeah,
beanie would be cool.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start. You find all kinds of free clothes around New York. We're just gonna start making them out of the clothes we find around here.
That's fucking horrible.
Get some.
We're gonna get you trash clothes.
What you do is you wait outside of Salvation Army like on like a Thursday, and people drop off bags of clothes, and we'll just go get all the t-shirts out of them and spray paint hoodies and stuff like that.
That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, but wouldn't they already have logos on them? I mean, just get a cheap hoodie.
Put it on the logos. You can supersede logos. No?
I mean, because the logos are all going to be those vinyl decals that'll like scrape. I mean, I don't want to sell people trash clothes. I will bottle the cloud shirt at Safety Harbor Resort and Spa. We write some weird fictional story about it. Neo Bohemian and Lunar War vet Mark Twins and sporting the new Dagger cloud scene. That would be so fucking funny. That's great, loudspeaker. I don't give a shit where it's made. $2 at Goodwill, homie. Stencil and paint and sign. Ship for $3.
See, they want trash clothes. Of course.
Do merch like ass pizza. Kid buys mass t-shirts and jeans from flea market and sprays them. I mean, if you guys
these motherfuckers are gonna end up with like an Oscar de la Renta fucking sweater with Dagger spray painted across the thing, man. People throw away nice clothes in this town.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it. It fits the image. Trash clothes. I want trash clothes. Okay, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The people have spoken and they want trash clothes. You definitely want to sell people trash clothes, big margins.
All right, we'll do it.
We'll do it. That's why it's so important that we have these little talks.
Yeah. I think Don found all this shit in the trash. Where'd that jacket came from? That's the one I got you upstate?
Yeah. And this, I mean, no, my clothes are from Walmart because I'm a fucking responsible citizen.
This is trash clothes. There was the heroin addict on the street. I don't know if you
these
guys saw
are
that.
trash. Matt found these for me in the trash. And I'm very thankful because I needed shoes and they just appeared. We aren't royalty, man. Give us the trash. Somebody asked if I'd seen a fucking TV show or something. And I skipped it. Well, I can't find it. But I'll tell you, I'm a consumer.
Ass pizza. You're going to be just like ass pizza.
Yeah, we always wanted to be just like ass pizza.
Just like ass pizza.
Just like ass pizza. I've been watching True Detective Season 2 while I'm in my fucking work coma. I love True Detective. Oh, Punisher. Okay, I couldn't make it through the fucking Punisher, the first season.
No.
Because there was a line in the first episode where somebody said, the only person you're punishing is yourself, Frank. And I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you, you make a Punisher show where the point is that the Punisher needs to go to therapy.
It's his unbridled rage that makes him a superhero.
See, that's why you got to watch True Detective Season 2, because True Detective Season 2 gives you the fucking quotable quotes, especially from Vince Vaughn. Don't even eat. Don't do anything out of hunger. Not even eating. It's fucking sick. Fucking, you got Vince Vaughn in there. You got Rachel McAdams from the fucking Notebook as the vengeful police detective with the knife. Everybody talks in this fucking hard-boiled patois. You know, it's fucking, it's great. That's a great show. Charles just posted his podcast with Eric Hayden on Twitch. I showed up for that for a little bit. I just said hi. Interview Jim Goad. I would love to interview Jim Goad. Is he out of prison? I'm sorry, he was in jail. But is he out of jail? I guess he is, because he got out in Shit Magnet. Yeah, I'd love to talk to Jim Goad. I love Jim Goad from Answer Me. I don't know how I feel about modern Jim Goad, but maybe I just don't like. I haven't gotten deep enough into it. I don't want to be judgmental. Interview with Sabo, Unsavory Agents, Underground Street Artists, L.A. Sure, we love Sabo. The first season of True Detective is really good, despite the Christian hate. I like the second season of True Detective better. I appreciate the first season of True Detective because it made all my fucking like dipshit normie friends talk about Robert W. Chambers and the King in Yellow for like a straight year, and I love that story. I love the whole Yellow King cycle. I mean, obviously it's like a Lovecraft adjacent thing, but I love Chambers' version of it. Interview Nick Bogus. Sure. Oh, who's Nick Bogus? We don't know. But yeah, I've been enjoying that show. But at the same time, like I'm also reading the Three Musketeers, and this is something that I'm going to talk about on the prequel stream. Like the Three Musketeers is not like a super complicated book, right? It's an adventure story, but it's a fucking great adventure story. What?
They found the Gorefest.
Holy shit, the introduction write-up of Gorefest on Drive-Thru RPG is amazing. This Nicholas C. review is hot garbage. fucking dogpile the page for us, man.
Yeah, please.
Loudspeaker, use some psyop shit.
Yeah.
Make Gorefest blow up. Also, you have to interview Paul LaFoy. He's in your neighborhood and is an actual king. I'll talk to a king. Max Roderick is talking about True Detective. He says first season was better. I just thought the second season had too many top stiff characters. You're wrong. Because in the second season, Rayvel Coro is like the wounded fucking man. Oh, he's a man and he's being destroyed by the modern cuck world. Oh, it's killing him. Oh, it's eating him up. And maybe his son isn't even really his son. His son's a fat piece of shit who plays D&D like me. But at the end of the show, Ray's like, is my son going to pick up on any of the lessons that I've taught him? Is he going to learn how to be a man? And then you see the kid with the little lucite block with his grandfather's police badge in it. And you know that he's going to be all right, that he's carrying on the fucking tradition of being a complete piece of shit, masculine nightmare. And you know that the cycle will continue. And that's why True Detective Season 2 is way better than True Detective Season 1 and most television.
He's the guy who made the...
Oh, Nick Bogus! Yeah. No, A. Wyatt Mann. We would definitely interview A. Wyatt Mann. But we would not relax while doing so. Yeah, we'll check out Mourning the Ancient.
Yeah, Kidnap. Yeah. There's what is the other name for that?
Do you pay for HBO, Don? No. I have friends who pay for HBO. This is one of the most important things you can do.
I think Don and I have the same friend that pays for the HBO.
Yeah. This is one of the most important things you could do if you want to be like a media consumer who's not just living in a fucking nightmare hell. Make friends with a guy who has more money than you and a better TV, who likes to watch TV, and then he will invite you over to watch TV, and then you get to watch all the fucking dope TV, but you don't do it at home where it just like turns into this giant time sink. And you get to watch it on like a way better television than you're capable, than like really maybe you should sustain in your home, you know? She's cool to talk to. And she shows her boobs. Yeah. Max Roderick says, yeah, his story was great, but it had like 3 other stories around it. and that had me checking my watch. Rewatch it because the other stories are good too. But I'm not gonna go off about True Detective season 2 the whole stream, especially when we've got like actual interesting shit going on. Yeah, we'll check out Molly, man. She sounds cool. Bannett says like Max Payne. Max Payne is essential gaming. I agree. Yeah, I never played the second one. I started it last fall, but I didn't finish it. Maybe I will finish it. I really liked the first Max Payne, and I had a little gaming website when it came out, and I wrote a review of it that got featured on 3D Realms website, and it was like a big victory for me when I was a kid. And as a result of that, I was still on the press list when Duke Nukem Forever got released. I don't know how they fucking kept that shit together, but I got an invite to the release party for Duke Nukem Forever, and I brought me and the guy, Brian John, that I did the website with. It was angrygamers.com, and it is still up on the Internet Archive if anybody wants to dig it.
Yeah,
I prefer that they didn't.
Jake Butler says, I legitimately haven't watched the television over a year. First time in my life. Wasn't even a conscious decision. Yep, that's the way it goes.
That is the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
Yep.
See, that's the thing I was saying about the Three Musketeers. Is like Three Musketeers is just like, it's like Indiana Jones, right? It's adventure bullshit. But like, I have such a better experience having my adventure bullshit when I'm reading than I do when I'm just receiving it. So like, even though I'm talking all this good stuff about True Detective season 2, it's like, I would much rather have read that story than watched it. Molly met with the World War II historian who was ostracized recently for doing Holocaust research and showing his factual findings. There is a picture of her with him. Good to know. Good to know. Can you King sign the Dagger issue I just ordered? Yeah.
Yeah.
Send an email to either editor at Dagger Mag or my email, garbloza at Gmail. Yeah. Max sent the thing. Yeah, we'd love to sign it. And we'll sign it with a big old Sharpie, and it'll be cool. I appreciate that you guys want that, by the way. We're not going to charge for it or anything, but if anybody wants it, just drop me a note. Yeah. So yeah, what else?
I think that's good.
I think that's a pretty good stream, man. Yeah, we're at like an hour 12.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Like, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. And we're gonna interview the mystery pickup artist. Yeah, we'll get right on that.
Yeah.
We're everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. And we're probably the new Star Wars stream. We'll give you a little run up, but that's coming in the next couple of days. So thanks.